Okay, we're going to take a look at the checklist and how that ties into the home page of the app. And if you look at the home page here, you can see there's a weekly progress bar at the top, right up here. And there's also this whole map section, and you can filter by date. And what this is showing is the traffic to your CityScoop column or your website. And there's a switch button, a toggle, where you can look at both your CityScoop and your website traffic to see what's hitting your site and your blog. Right below it, in this gray box with the green pinstripe around it, are 6 items: articles, shares, connections, events, business cards, meetings. And these all tie in from the checklist and into the progress bar. The idea is that if you write one article, you just do a little bit of each one of these things. And so if you write one article a week, that's the bare minimum, and then share it to a social network like Facebook or LinkedIn, and then go to a networking event and collect a couple business cards and have a new meeting with some new business contact, and then connect with that business contact on social media. And the whole idea is to connect the online networking and the offline networking, and how that, and seeing the work that you're doing to grow your business next to this graph of how much website traffic you're getting is what I think is very beneficial. You can track anything you want on this checklist and see how that those business activities correlate to growth, which hits your website and your CityScoop blog. So I'm going to switch over here to the checklist page with this navigation button at the bottom. And the home page loads fairly slowly, and so does this checklist page because it's pulling in a lot of data. And we're working on speeding it up, but it's just a lot of loading. So be patient here. When this checklist comes up here, you've got those 6 items in the pinstripe box. Those are the ones that were on the home page. And the weekly checklist progress bar is above it. So what happens is if you publish an article to your CityScoop blog, it'll automatically populate right here and show one article. If you publish 2, it'll have a number 2 there. And everything below this has a checklist box next to it, so you can check an item, and then it'll put a number. You can click to where that number is to edit it to whatever number you want. Let's say you shared to 3 social profiles, so you would enter that. And at the bottom of the page is where, on the bottom of the page is where you click a submit button, and all this data will get saved. And once you publish one article, which is the minimum, your weekly checklist bar will go up by a certain percentage that we've assigned each one of these things based on how much time it takes. So each one of these items is assigned to amount of time that totals 3 hours, which is generous. We've assigned 45 minutes to a blog article when really we can do them in around 15 to 20 minutes using voice typing. So we've allotted all of these items so as kind of like the minimum goals. You don't have to use any of this, but if you are looking for a way to just focus on what you can do this week in order to grow your business, that's what this is designed to do. It's a weekly checklist. And so if you publish one article, we suggest to share it to at least one social profile, make one or more social connections, attend a networking event, collect at least 3 new business cards, and schedule 1 or more meetings. So the idea is maybe either at a networking event this week or last week or at any point, you set up a meeting either on the phone or a webinar or in person with a new business contact just to help grow your sphere. Even if you aren't doing business with that person, they might be able to send referrals to you. And once you connect with them during that meeting, on social media, so the idea would be during the meeting is to say, hey, let's connect right now on Facebook or whatever. Next week when you publish your article and then share it, now they're starting to see your message and your information going out. And those all draw traffic back into your website and to your CityScoop blog. So if you've done the minimum of each one of these things, you have to check off all these items except for the published articles, the top one that automatically gets published. The weekly checklist should go up to 100% for that week. When you scroll down, you'll see that you can add other items. and I've added some already. So one of them was for these training calls. You can add reminders to each one of these items too. So not only can you track over time how many things that you're doing or whatever these goals that you're reaching and certain numbers and stuff, you also can use this as a reminder notification system. So when you click on the little pencil right there, it'll open up the edit screen, and you can see I've got training calls. So this one, I don't really track how many training calls I go to because I'm the one delivering the trainings, but I set it up just simply as a reminder for myself. So I get a little reminder to my phone that it's time to turn on the meeting 10 minutes before. So I called it training call, and just a little description, start the meeting. You can even put a little icon or take a picture if you wanted to go with each one of these things. How long the task takes. It's a 1 hour. Hours spent means how long the task takes. So it's a 1 hour training, and then below it is when I've checked this box to turn on the reminder right here. You check that box there, and then it'll give you the option to put in a day of the time of the day. And so it's at 8:50 a.m. on Tuesday. It's 10 minutes before 9 a.m. when the first training webinar is. You can click the plus button down here, and it'll add another row. I've got 3 rows here because I hit the plus thing twice. And so I've got one for Tuesday, one for Wednesday, and one for Thursday. So that's my training reminders. I'm going to close this out. And so all of your items can be edited and have a reminder or not a reminder. So some of these things might not need a reminder, but it can be set for anything like leave for a networking group, BNI, or you can track how many phone calls that you made that week or that day, and it'll track all these numbers. So at the end of the day, let's say you made 10 phone calls, you would check the 10 phone calls made, and you would enter 10 right there. And then at the bottom of the screen is where you can enter submit, and it'll track those. You can also track every time you're closing business, so you can see over time how much money that you're making through all these efforts. So on any given day when you had a big close a business, you could track that as well if you want to. Again, this is all optional, but the idea is to help people focus on what they can do this week instead of maybe next month or next quarter or next year. And just focus on getting your weekly checklist up, and we promise that your website traffic will go up, even if you're just publishing articles. By getting the first page of Google, people will find you. But if you take the time to share it to a social profile, it only takes like 5 minutes to do that to one profile, and it can reach a whole lot more people. So, making a social connection doesn't take much time. Attending a networking meeting may take more time. But we believe if you are able to focus on some of these at least each week, or all of them, you'll be able to see the growth side by side on the home screen, your traffic next to what you're doing to grow your business. So the last thing too is to delete a checklist item. You can do it at the very bottom. Once you open it, there's update and delete. And to create a new one, you just click the add item there. To add a new checklist item, you just click add item here and fill it out. It looks like the same menu there. So on the home screen, this checklist will show up as the items below the map with the analytics traffic data, the graph, rather. And below it, you'll get those 6 items plus a little small expand button that I'll show you real quick. And that allows you to see all of your items. So down here is where the checklist is. If you hit the small expand button right here, that will show you all the rest of the things that you have on your checklist. And that's it for this video.